How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. The markets they look like they're recovering, but it is really strange why it is doing this already. Today, I'm going to talk about some of the stocks I've been buying and what I am going to do going forward to ensure that I'm going to get a profit off of all these. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Stock values can go up or down. Before you buy your own stocks, do your own research, consult your financial advisor. This video is not a recommendation to buy or sell assets. If you check out IXC, it is a worldwide energy ETF. It includes stocks such as ExxonMobil, Chevron, BP, basically every single gas station that you can think of across the world. And if you check out their stock chart over here, I bought here, here, and here. Now here's my complete strategy. I did not hold any of this at the very beginning, but as soon as it dropped to a value where I thought it was somewhat reasonable and kind of attractive, I started buying. The more heavily it went down, the more I started buying. Of course, all of this means nothing if I don't share how many shares I actually bought. So out of these 5 instances that I purchased, my average buy-in price is about $20.14. So from today, which closed around $18.50 or so, if it goes up another 5%, I'm going to basically break even on all these trades on energy ETF IXC. So you might kind of go, well, are you just kind of gambling or something? Well, usually whenever gasoline prices go really low and I see it at the pumps and stuff, I just go, well, why don't I just buy into it? Because it always seems like they always bounce back. The truth is, I'm not really trying to time it thinking that it's going to come back in a few months, a year even. I'm buying into it thinking that I'm going to hold on to it long term, maybe 1 or 2 years, and then maybe it's going to come back to where it was before. If you track the oil price war between Russia, Saudi Arabia, and the US, I personally don't follow it too closely, but whenever headlines come up, I kind of read it and I go, oh, great. Whenever some news event happens, maybe they're going to have a meeting on trying to reduce their output. Sometimes they cancel these meetings, and other times they go back on what they agreed on before, saying they're going to cut their production. And the list of something happening that would significantly move the stock price goes on and on. The thing here is that sometimes the news item, it might make IXC go really low, but my whole strategy here is try to ride the wave for the long term, because what I've noticed is if I do day trading, I buy in and out. Maybe I might make 1% or 2, and then 1 or 2 days I lose 1% or 2. And what I found myself doing when I do trading that's too actively is that all these trades sort of cancel out. I might end up trading maybe 100 times a year, and at the end, maybe I made a few $1,000s, maybe I lost a few $1,000s. So this is what I noticed with myself. This is why I don't buy or trade on the news, and I don't buy or trade every single week. All this time, since the beginning of March, all I have been doing is buying into equities. I have not sold any yet, and I do not plan to sell any. If it goes up all the way to before the dip at the peak, then I might consider selling. Now, recently, the stock market seemed to have recovered a little bit. What if it benefits me to sell now and I can reap some of the profits and then let the stock market go down, and then once it's really low, maybe 30, 40, 50% from the peak of the S&P, then I buy back in. The thing is, I don't know if this is going to happen or not. I bought back in stages, and the only reason I held on to equities the past week or so during this crazy run-up, and I have no idea why it came up this way, is that I was going to buy in stages and I'm going to hold it for the long haul. If I got scared and sold at the bottom, I would not enjoy this last week of gains. If I did not buy in stages, I would not enjoy this last week of gains. Now at this point, I want to address the fact that I own an electric car and yet I'm buying into the oil industry. The simple answer here is that I'm investing in something that I think will make me money. And I think the entire world is pretty dependent on oil still. It's fairly safe for now, mainly because I think the electric car revolution is not here yet. It has not made a significant dent to the entire world's energy needs. If I did not buy at the last buy, my break-even price would have been a lot higher. So it was very important that I keep enough cash around so that I could keep on buying and sort of bring down my average more and more as long as the market keeps on going down. And even till this point, I'm holding on to about 30% cash because I don't know what's going on. I cannot predict, and I do not assume I'm gonna know what's gonna happen next week or even tomorrow. If it happens to keep on going up, my plan is to just halt buying, okay? I'm just gonna hold on to my cash and I'm only gonna buy more if it dips below the lowest price I bought it for by like 10% or so, and then I'm gonna buy more and more into it. This 30% cash that I'm still holding on to is to allow me a little bit of room to average whatever I buy in, to take advantage just in case something more happens going forward. If the stock market takes a nosedive from this point on, okay, it retraces back to the minus 30% of the S&P 500. If it goes down more than this, I'm gonna be holding the whole way because I want to be able to hold if it keeps on going up or if it keeps on going down. For me personally, this is the only surefire way to make money, is if you make an assumption that it will eventually come back, then that means you should buy and hold for the long term. My personal experience is if I trade every single day, my gains and losses tends to average out and I don't make that much gains. But if you buy at a certain point and hold for long enough, you can get like 30, 40, 50% gains, which is a lot more than if I just keep on buying and selling in small increments. And if it moves 1 or 2%, you can go, oh, I made $100, $200. This is kind of small money because it's very hard for you to hit 1% gain for 30 days in a row versus if you just buy and hold and wait for it to come up 30%. Then to me, this is a lot easier than trying to time the market from day to day. Now I want to share with you guys the other stocks I've been buying. If you happen to buy last week and you waited a week till now, you probably made a whole bunch of money. Anybody can make a video right now and say, hey, look, I made a whole bunch of money. You probably will see this on all the YouTube videos right now. I'm just gonna tell you what I bought personally. I bought IRM. I sold 1,000 shares over here. You can see that it was right before the dip. I would say I sold this because I was getting increasingly afraid of this infection thing. In fact, I was holding on to IRM and SLV, which is a silver ETF fund. I sold these, and then after this, I bought over here, and so far I've obtained $4,000 unrealized gain, and I realize maybe next week, all this is gonna evaporate, right? So this is unrealized. It is a 17% gain so far, and I'm not right now trying to pat myself on the back or anything because I'm making this video, yes, it's gained a little bit, yes, but I also recognize that after I make this video, it might go down. So don't make fun of me if it goes to 0 or something in terms of gains. My plan is to hold on to this until it recovers, I don't know, most of the dip from before the infection stuff. So if it comes back to about 95% of what it was before, I might start to think about selling it. But these shares are actually really good because it gives a really high dividend, about 9 or 10% or so. So given that, I might actually even hold on to it. I don't know. I'm gonna think about it some more. What's happening right now? It's kind of confusing, right? The infection stuff is still out there. Lots of people are still dying, and yet the stock market seems like it's recovering. This is wild. And I would have to say, I probably would not be able to ride this if I was super pessimistic. There's a lot of people sitting out there, they think that it's gonna go down to minus 50%, minus 60, or minus 70, and they're just holding out for now. 100% in cash, they wanna put it all in, which means that they think they can time the market perfectly by putting 100% of their cash in right at the very bottom. And if it happens that 2 weeks ago was the bottom of the market, well, you missed out on all these gains. So this is why I missed out on it before, and this time I'm doing it different. This time I am investing in stages, chunks at a time, because I don't know where the bottom is. Over here, BAC, which is Bank of America, I bought here. I did not own any before this, probably for at least many, many months. So far, I've got $4,400 of unrealized gain, which is about 21%. Should I sell right now just to reap in on the profits? No, I don't plan to, because I plan for this to be like a crazy money maker, because I want to hold on to this long term. I want this to reach like 50 to 100% gains. Whatever I bought it for, I think like $22 or something, I want it to come back to like $40, right? So this is close to 50%, which is, you know, a really, really good amount of gains. The job loss claims has reached 16.8 million in just the past 3 weeks. 3.3 million, 6.8 million, and then 6.6 million last week. If you guys are wondering, the typical per week jobless claims is about 220K, which is 0.22 million instead. So all these job losses is because of this isolation type thing. People can't go to work because it's not an essential business. Everybody get laid off from restaurants and non-essential businesses. And you have 155 million people that are employed. So you do the math, this is about 10% increase of unemployment just in the last 3 weeks alone. This is really, really bad, right? And why is the stock market still going up? People are out of a job, people cannot spend money, and we know that the consumer market is highly dependent on consumer consumption. The whole stock market is dependent on consumer consumption. So if you have 10% of the people unable to pay rent, unable to buy discretionary items, going forward, this might hurt the economy more and more. It seems like the stock market thinks that, oh, the infection rate is going down, so somehow the economy is going to start healing itself. We're essentially on the path to recovery, so the stock market's going to recover also. The thing is, I think these jobs are lost as long as the infection is going to go on. And I believe that the infection is not going to go away that easily. When the government ease up on all these restrictions on people social distancing themselves, they're going to ease up very slowly, right? Even if they ease up very slowly, I think they're going to suddenly see a rise of reinfection of people. Suddenly people are going to get sick. Suddenly more people are going to die. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, we can't even let up on this, and then everybody is going to be required to stay at home some more. So I think what needs to happen in order for people to get back to work is we need to impose a lot of new rules to make sure a lot of things are sterile. This is the only way. Without doing this, people can't go back to work. At first, they're not going to know how to go on the path of this recovery. Most people are not very attuned on how sterile you have to be in order to not catch an infection. How do you avoid something like this when it's so invisible? People are not trained to be sterile with themselves. They like to, touch everything. They touch their face, they touch cash, they touch the credit cards, they touch doorknobs, they use a whole bunch of community stuff, and the whole entire society, everybody is not used to being completely sterile. We hug, we shake hands, so they're gonna include more and more rules in order for people to become sterile. In other countries, they have to always wear masks. Maybe all the companies have like routine cleaning every single hour. If we stay in for 2 months, we're gonna start seeing the stock market go down more. Right now, I think people are being too optimistic. People want to be optimistic about the stock market. And don't forget to give me a like on this video, comment down below, let me know if you're gonna sell on this little run up over here, and push that subscribe button and ring that bell icon. Thanks for watching.